There is less than 30 hours to go until polls close, and Anthony Albanese is in Tasmania this afternoon for a whistle-stop visit before voting day. It's the second of 3 states he's visiting today. Jonathan Lee is following him. Jonathan, take us through what's happening.
Well, Danica, it was as quick can be. We flew from South Australia into Tasmania to Launceston to the seat of Bass. Marginal, it's 0.4%. It's the second most marginal in the country. Anthony Albanese, in effect, bookending his campaign. He started in Tasmania. He came here to a pre-polling station. It was probably 6-7 minutes at best. Ross Hart is the local candidate here. He's previously held the seat. He's up against Bridget Archer. There's time enough to shake a few hands, get a pat on the back, a rousing reception, and then Mr. Albanese was out of there equally as quickly. He stopped very briefly and spoke to the media. He was on his way out, but he was kind enough and turned around and give a few words. This is what he had to say.
Fantastic to be here in Launceston. Bass is a seat that changes hands from election to election, and I really hope it does change hands today when people vote it today and tomorrow. Ross Hart's a fantastic candidate, and I want him back in my caucus.
Danica, sometimes it's hard to explain to people back home how quickly things happen on this campaign. When you fly from South Australia to Tasmania, you get off a bus, you go to a spot, you're there for literally 10 minutes, you get back on. We're now going back to the airport. Mr. Albanese said we're heading on to Melbourne, so I'm going to take his word for it. Literally in Tasmania for 10 or 15 minutes, and you're in and out like that. It's remarkable how quickly things happen, but I suppose they're hoping that they get a photo with a local photographer. It appears on the local newspaper. People see it in the morning and they think, Albo was here, what a shame we missed him. And it reinforces the fact that he was in Tasmania, and Tasmania is important. This is one of the 2 key seats in Tasmania that often flips come election time. So the Labor Party desperate to pick up at least Bass or Braddon here. Bass would be a tough ask for them, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, it seems like an absolute whirlwind, Jono. And earlier today, as you said, you were in Adelaide.
Yeah, I suppose to put that back in context, Danica, you spend more time eating lunch on the plane than you did at that event. Yes, we were in Adelaide this morning. Mr. Albanese left Sydney, flew to Adelaide. Sturt and Boothby were the 2 key seats he met. More significantly, though, Julia Gillard was with him, the former Prime Minister. He had coffee with her firstly, and then we went to a local school where, credit where it's due, he was absolutely mobbed by the students. I'm not sure how many of them knew his name, but they got a sense of the reason why he was there, and they were lining up for photos with himself, Julia Gillard, Penny Wong also. So very, very well received. We asked a few of them as we walked around what they made of it, what they made of Labor's chances. These are the responses.
One day to go. Feels very positive, and it's just great to see the future of Australia right here. Our young people are positive, they're energetic, and they're hopeful about the future.
You're hopeful too?
Indeed.
I think South Australians, like a lot of people, have really had enough of Mr Morrison. So I think it's no more Morrison, and instead choose a better future.
It's obviously been a difficult campaign. Mr Albanese is back on track.
You've got some excited young South Australians here.
Why is Anthony Albanese the man to lead the country?
Because Albo knows where he came from. He knows where he wants to go. He wants to give Australians the same sort of opportunities he had. That's what a better future's all about.
He's definitely the man. I proudly voted for him. It's time for change. It's time for Labor Day.
Danica, for all the rough argy-bargy that politics is when it comes to questions and press conferences, there was a nice moment when Mr Albanese was asked what his mother would make of the fact that he was oh so close to, in effect, being Prime Minister, at least one of 2 people who will who duke it out for it tomorrow when it comes to the major parties. He gave a very humble response in regards to his modest upbringing and what this would have meant to his mum.
She'd be proud as punch. She'd be proud as punch. The fact that that young kid is now running for Prime Minister says a lot about her and her courage, but also says a lot about this country.
Danica, there's a lot of people that go through these campaigns, the journalists, the politicians, the staffers. Everyone gets put through the ringer in some form or another, especially the politicians. But at the end of this, it's always important to remember that these are people who genuinely want to make a difference and do something for the nation. Sometimes it's easy to forget that. They arrive with passion. They arrive often with prejudice for their own very good reasons, but they, at the very foundation, at the heart of it all, they want to make a difference for the right reasons, and that is always important to remember when we start and finish this campaign.
Yeah, you make a very good point, Jono, and off to your next stop. Thank you.